I am Sam. Because of old age, we had just lost 2 more of the many animals that we had saved from abusive situations. I was not really in the mood to take on any more animals, mainly because of the high veterinary costs that we had incurred throughout the years. A process which we began almost 10 years ago. One that has caused us many hardships, almost destroying our home. As my wife and I were driving near the airport, all at once she turned into the Glenn County Animal Shelter and came to a stop. "What are we doing here?" I asked her. "I'm not sure," she replied. I watched as she opened her door and began walking toward the fenced building. "You going to come in with me?" "I'm not going in there," I almost screamed. I sat watching as she disappeared into the building. There's just something about dog pounds that I hate. Maybe it was being locked in a cage. Maybe it was the sounds of animals wanting to be rescued and loved and cared about. Feelings that I had known very well as an abused little boy living at the Children's Home Society orphanage in Jacksonville, Florida. I'll never forget that 6-foot-high chain-link fence surrounding me for almost 15 years, my entire youth. "Roger!" yelled Judy several minutes later. When I turned around, I saw her standing in a small fenced area, a mid-sized black and tan dog jumping all over. I got out of the truck and slowly I walked over to the fence. "Isn't he beautiful?" she asked. I just stood there shaking my head, and I turned and began walking back to the truck. "Will you please come in here?" she hollered. I stopped, turned around, and began walking toward the main building. Once inside, I was led down a long hallway. Dogs were barking and screaming everywhere. It was almost deafening. As I walked along, I tried not to look at the hundreds of animals screaming and barking at me. I could hardly take it. As I entered the small fenced viewing area where Judy was waiting, the dog began to jump on me. When I ran my hand down his back, I noticed a very large scar. I asked the attendant what had caused the injury. She told me that he had been beaten with a metal coat hanger. Looking down at my legs, I looked at the many scars that I had received as a child while living in that Jacksonville, Florida orphanage. I too had been beaten many times with such an instrument. I felt my neck begin to swell and my throat began to tighten. Very quickly I began to walk toward the main entrance to get the hell out of that building as quickly as possible. "His name is Sam and they're going to put him down tomorrow," yelled Judy. "We can't afford any more animals," I said. Unable to speak, I walked to the truck, closed and locked the door, and I wiped my burning red eyes. In my heart there was a battle taking place, a very, very big battle. One that I knew I would lose. Nevertheless, it was one that I knew that I had to fight. And I had to fight it alone. As Sam lies on the bed between my wife and I tonight, for some reason he begins to lick the scars on my leg. In the faint light of the television, I reach over and I begin to pat him on his large scar. And I whisper to myself, "Yes, I am Sam."